It's a day of reckoning for convicted CEO Sam Bankman-Fried. The former crypto king will be sentenced in a New York courtroom this morning for his role in the multi-billion-dollar fraud that led to the collapse of the FTX cryptocurrency exchange. In November, the 32-year-old was found guilty by a federal jury of fraud and conspiracy. Prosecutors want Bankman-Fried to serve up to 50 years in prison, with one U.S. attorney calling it, quote, one of the biggest financial frauds in American history. Here with more is NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Cheung. So, Brian, first of all, give us a reminder how we got to this point here.
Yeah, we have to rewind to 2022 when this really big crypto exchange where people were trading Bitcoin and other types of currencies spectacularly collapsed. Now, the CEO at the time, Sam Bankman-Fried, he was alleged to have used $10 billion in customer funds to fund a lavish lifestyle in the Caribbean, and then also use the money to try to make some risky bets that ultimately didn't work out, which led to the collapse of this company. Now let's fast forward to about 4 months ago in November, when a court found him guilty of 7 charges, including fraud and conspiracy. Now, today is going to be the end of that whole court proceeding in the form of that sentencing. Now, the challenge here is whether or not they should go with what the prosecutors are recommending of 40 to 50 years in prison, or if they want to go with what his attorneys are arguing should be a max of 6.5 years. So where does the judge kind of land in the middle of that? That remains to be seen. We'll find out later on.
Do we have any insight into what the judge could do, what the options are here, and could contrition from SBF play a role here?
Well, I mean, certainly that's what his attorneys are hoping for, right? That if Sam Bankman-Fried can show the judge, or has already shown the judge, that he feels guilty about the whole situation, then maybe they'll give him a more lenient sentence. Now, again, it's likely going to be somewhere between that 6.5 or 40 to 50 years. But again, it's going to depend on how they look at the merits of the case. Now, those that are arguing, again, on the prosecutor side, that he should get many decades in prison, they have pointed to the tens of thousands of people who have lost a lot of money. Again, it was $10 billion in customer funds that were gambled away by FTX. And, you know, the allegation there is that, well, if he was so callous and was using that money to hobnob with celebrities and party it up in the Caribbean, then it doesn't show that he really feels all that guilty about it. But then his attorneys are saying, actually, if you look at his diary, which has been submitted in the record, you can see a picture of a person who has deep social anxiety, a lot of concerns about whether or not he could actually fit into those social circles. So that's going to be very, very much part of the decision there.
What about that $10 billion?
Yeah, well, I mean, for right now, there's a court down in Delaware because there was a bankruptcy administrator that was put in place after the 2022 collapse of this company that has been trying to figure out a way to recuperate the billions of dollars that were lost. They haven't recuperated dollar for dollar. They've gotten a good amount back. And they say, based off of filings, that they will make people that have legitimate claims whole in terms of how much money they get back. How long does that take, Joe? That remains an open question.
No doubt investors paying close attention to that. All right, Brian Cheung, we know you'll stay on this throughout the day. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.